He's not flipping a coin on that one. So the cars are side by side. Hank Scarpa looking over the field. And he gives a green flag as we are off and running. Larry Cote weighing Corey Jr. in the number 17 on the outside of row number 1. He'll try to make his way to the front, but Cote with a nice jump out there in the number 89 as he will be at the front of the field momentarily as they cross the stripe.
Ed Field looking good in car number 7 as he battles Mark St. Hilaire for a spot. And there is Larry the Boss Goss running in the number 5 position. Little contact between himself and Field, and that staggers the number 6 car.
Well, number 6, the car that he campaigned here last year, as he's trying to catch the field. Ed Field in front of him, and of course Mark St. Hilaire in that number 3, sponsored by the folks at USS Chatterpot, moving to the outside, and he'll take over the 3rd spot on the speedway this time around.
Ed Field drifting back to 4th, and he might be drifting even farther than that as here comes Larry Goss. Diego Monahan looking good in the number 6 car, and a double file battle behind him consisting of Bruce Thomas Jr. and Russell LaJoie.
Again, the key word is going to be patience out here as we have 96 laps to go and 100 laps to distance, and these drivers are trying to settle in, trying to get into some sort of a groove, some sort of a cadence out here on the track, established position for the rest of the race.
Wade Corey Jr. almost as close to Larry Cody as a wristwatch gets the bite off of the turn 4, and it's Wade Corey Jr. taking over the lead on lap 4. Trouble St. Hilaire making contact with Cody, and Field and Thomas able to take evasive action. We're able to shoehorn themselves. Will make the car tighter as the race gets on. It's not an exact science. It's not like golf where you can see the water, you can see the rough. Here, you have to make educated guesses, and we'll see how that strategy plays out as this race winds down.
Right now, they're going back to green flag racing in the Bob Valenti Automall late models. Larry Goss jumps out into the front in the number 6. But right with him is Bruce Thomas Jr. in the number 35 on the inside. Edward Field on the outside looking in, trying to get that number 7 into a spot as we complete lap number 86, 185 showing on the scoreboard.
Now Glenn Riley starting to pick things up in car 99 as he goes alongside the 7 of Ed Field. Keep an eye on the 99 as it maneuvers into 3rd place.
Well, Glenn Riley, no stranger to the winner's circle as we have a black flag coming out on the speedway. We'll have to see who that one was for. Glenn Riley currently holding on to the 3rd spot. Chad Tremblay now trying to get by Edward Field into number 7 as Corey Hutchings knocking at the door. Now, Corey, as you remember, only had 1 lap of qualifying out there in the number 36 as he changed ahead on that car in the pits, and let's see how that worked out for him. But one of the hard chargers out here in the division, currently tied for 2nd.
Well, he started far back in our field, and it didn't take him up to move along the leaders in 5th place. And it's Tommy Silva, a great outing for him so far, as he has gotten past Russell LaJoie. So the car number 31, the Pinnacle Glass sponsored car, having a great run.
Well, that's a talented young driver. We have some problems out there as a fire underneath the hood of the 67. And again, Mark St. Hilaire collected up in an accident. And Brandon Clemens on fire, headed to the pit area, trying to get off the track.
He is on the hot seat, both literally and figuratively.
And
car
Cohanzi,
67.
safety unit, springing into action. They headed out onto the track. They thought that Brandon was going to be out there, as once again a red flag situation here on the speedway. So they check Brandon out inside the number 67 to make sure he's all right, as this field has once again come to a complete stop.
And it looks like there is quite a bit of fluid dumped out onto the track as an engine let go, and now the trail of liquid is around the speedway.
Well, the good news is,
As we get ready to go back to speed with Larry Goss sitting on the pole, should be a good restart because Bruce Thomas Jr. is fast, Mark.
yes, he is. He's a good starter, and so is Larry Goss. And Larry Goss must have missed a shift or something on that one because he's watching the whole field go by the number 6. As you can see, dropping like a rock back there, and this will be a very interesting situation. He has 2 cars qualified in the field that he qualified. Let's see what happens on this one as he makes his way around the track. There's something definitely wrong with the number 6. On the other hand, nothing wrong with the number 35 of Bruce Thomas Jr. as he is setting a torrid pace here with 79 laps showing on the scoreboard.
And it's Glenn Riley in second, and Corey Hutchings, who almost started the race at Gillette Castle, has moved into the number 3 position. Russell LaJoy fourth, and rounding out our top 5 is Tommy Silva. But the fast pace being established by Thomas, and here comes Glenn Riley, giving him something to think about.
Well, Bruce Thomas Jr. was fast in the qualifying, and he's equally fast out here in the number 35. He's been smart. He stayed out of trouble through most of this race and is leading right now. Corey Hutchings, again, a tip of the hat to that crew, as that car was in pieces at the beginning of our qualifying, managed to get it together very quickly. He came out, ran 1 qualifying lap, qualified 20th in the field. Right now he's battling it out for the 3rd spot on the speedway.
And Corey Hutchings did what he had to do, make up a lot of spots early, alleviate the congestion, and now he can ride it out for a few laps right behind Glenn Riley in car number 99.
Also, you got to say a lot about Tommy Silva out there in the number 31. Started 8th in the field. Right now he's 5th, but driving very well as Thomas Jr. gets a little bit sideways out there in the 35. That allows Glenn Riley to creep up, and here comes Corey Hutchings in the number 36.
Hutchings has some ammunition on the outside groove, and he is crowding Bruce Thomas. And now he tucks it in back and beside him. That leaves a lane open for Glenn Riley, and here comes the 99 galloping into the lead.
Glenn Riley out of Northford, Connecticut. No stranger to the racetracks of Connecticut, makes his move into number 99. He has the World Gym car out in front, doing a terrific job out there in that car. Russ LaJoy taking advantage of the situation as well in the number 28. Don't forget, he's a feature winner in 2003.
Now Hutchings has made a good recovery. Uh-oh, Silva hung out to dry. He loses 2, 3 spots as Alan Coates gets underneath him. So Tommy Silva found himself in those marbles you were talking about, and he rolled backwards. And look at Wayne Corey. He has moved up into contention.
Well, he mentioned his car was a little bit loose in practice today. As Bruce Thomas Jr. got bumped out there, he is indeed a slow automobile dropping back. And we could see that 35 headed into the pits out there now. Tough break for the young driver, Bruce Thomas Jr. from Groton, Connecticut. He'll pull that 35 in.
Glenn Riley did get 1 win last year, but he struggled for a lot of the season, had a lot of tough luck. But he's the drum major of the parade as Corey Hutchings goes to work on the outside of Russell LaJoy. Nothing doing there. Russell LaJoy really came into his own the second half of the 2002 season, and right now he has a battle on his hands.
Looking back through the field, a lot of drivers try to make their way up to the front. Alan Coates doing what he does best, trying to get through traffic. He's a very good driver in traffic. He is the defending regional champion in the late model division and the defending champion right here at the Waterford Speedbowl. Keep your eyes on the brightly colored number 98.
And Wayne Corey, apparently what happened in time trials was not an optical illusion, because he has wiggled his way all the way up to 4th. And it's a great battle between Alan Coates and also a great battle for the lead. Here comes Hutchings on the outside of Glenn Riley.
It's interestingly enough, out there in that car, Corey Hutchings Just always a strong driver. He's another one that handles traffic very, very well as he's made his way up through the field. Now he's trying to get out into the clean air at the front of the field. He just might do it as he takes over the lead on lap 69.
And it is Skip Bruning in trouble in turn 2. The reason for the yellow. Skip Bruning runs into some difficulty. So a single car incident off the second turn. And
he's going to have his work cut out for him as he'll try to make his way into the field. And pulling out onto the track is Larry Goss in the number 6. Also has a long way to go to catch the field. As we're about to go back to green flag racing, Corey Hutchings with a tremendous jump out there in front of LaJoie and Glenn Riley put on a clinic, if you will, in the number 36 for a restart. Larry Goss trying to keep in front of the rest of the field out there and not get put down, because two great drivers out there pulling away from the field. That's Russ LaJoie in a car that would not be a candidate to put in a dictionary for aerodynamics, that's for sure.
Well, maybe a car that is a 98 of Alan Coates as he has moved into third place. And Tommy Silva, I think he might have started the night as a rookie, but he sure doesn't look like a rookie now as he has maneuvered that car into the 4th position.
Very talented young driver, and we talked a lot about that when he was driving in the sportsman division. You could just feel that this was a guy that knew his way around a race car and was destined for some good things to happen to him, and that is certainly what we're seeing here tonight. Currently tied for 10th in the point standings in the Bob Valenti Automall late models.
Well, Glenn Riley didn't find that last restart to his liking as he got caught on the outside and faded all the way from 2nd to 6th. And now is trying to hold off Dwayne Knoll in car number 2 for the spot. It is Metcalf, a little tap to the bumper. Knoll trying to open up some room for himself on the bottom, but Dwayne Knoll is not very accommodating in that regard.
Not at all. So there's quite a group of drivers out there as you have Alan Coates, Tommy Silva, Wayne Corey Jr. all knotted up in that second group of cars now coming by the start-finish line. Talk about some good young talent. There it is for you right there.
The 77 getting black flag to Richard Durante.
So a tough break for that driver as he'll pull the 77 into the pit area. We're halfway through 50 laps, showing on the scoreboard, signaled to the field by our starter Hank Scarpa.
Corey Hutchings, drama before the race even started. It was questionable if Corey would even be able to compete tonight. But the crew got his engine repaired in time, and he has a little bit of a safety valve between himself and Russell LaJoie. Alan Coates, we know what he can do in the later stages of the race. He is right where he wants to be, in good condition, and I think he'll start getting a little more serious as the laps tick away.
Well, it's almost like he's dialed in to do this. About halfway through every feature event that you see Alan in, he starts to make his move towards the front of the field. Whether it's a 100-lap event or a 25-lap event, he starts to do that. And very methodical driver, knows enough to stay out of trouble. And he knows he has to be there at the end if he's going to win. And just a very good driver. That's why he was indeed the regional champion last year.
And 3 of the last 5 years, Waterford Speedbowl champion. The closest battle on the track might be the one for 4th and 5th. Tommy Silva trying to hold off Wayne Corey Jr. So 2 of the youngsters going at it, and Silva opening up a little bit of a safety valve between himself and Corey.
They even look a lot like each other, those 2 young drivers, about the same temperament as well. Very upbeat every time you talk to them, and there's an air of confidence about these guys. They know what they're going to be.
Trouble in turn 3 as Jack Aquilina hits a fence along with Ernie Bertrand in car number 00, and the yellow comes out.
And the bad luck continues for Skip Brunig, too, in the 0.
It looks like we're ready to go just about, Mark.
And once again, poor Larry Goss is back out on the track, and he's got to come all the way around to catch the field as we are about to go back to green flag racing, Matt. On the front of the field, Corey Hutchings and Russ LaJoie side by side. Hutchings pedal to the metal in the Foreign Auto Parts number 36 as he jumps to the front of the field and gets bumped around a little bit by LaJoie.
Look at Tommy Silva on the outside mark, challenging LaJoie for second.
Well, that car's been very loose. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but that's doing a tremendous job out there. Matco Tools, Pinnacle Auto Glass, the proud sponsors on that car, and they've got to be proud of what Tommy Silva's doing right now. Is once again Mark St. Hilaire, that's the number 3 in front of Michael Kuczynski out there, getting bounced around. He was out there between Chad Tremblay and the number 2 of Dwayne Nolan. He's got to feel like he's got a target painted on the 3 tonight.
Well, you were right about the 31 being loose, as he used up all the racetrack coming out of turn 4 the last time. We'll see what happens this time. A little straighter, but Alan Coates has the number 3 position.
So side by side, we have the 31 of Silva and the 17 of Wayne Corey Jr., 2 of the young guns out here, as Silva loses a little bit of real estate to the 89 of Larry Cote, who actually started on the pole way back in the beginning of this race, and he's starting to assert himself towards the front of the field, because the next time by there'll be only 30 laps left to go in our Bob Valenti Auto Mall late model feature event.
And it is still Corey Hutchings, a ringleader of the circus, leading Russell LaJoie. The battle is shaping up for third. Alan Coates has a spot, but Wayne Corey, who was the fastest of them all during time trials, is starting to make things happen in car number 17.
So 2 groups of drivers at the front of the field, and miraculously we see the 0-3 of Diego Monahan still in the mix out there, as he's right on the back bumper of Cote, as Bruce Thomas Jr. brings the 35 back into the infield, having a rough night mechanically after a terrific qualifying round.
Corey took a peek, trying to muscle his way underneath Coates, but Coates, with a good surge, maintains his number 3 position. But Wayne Corey Jr. is not going to disappear. Diego Monahan holding off Larry Cote, and deep in the pack, Chad Tremblay is there. And Tommy Silva, he lost a lot of ground in the last 10 laps or so, as he is currently riding 8th.
As they cross the stripe out there, everybody's chasing Corey Hutchings, and this is a tremendous pat on the back for his pit crew. Once again, we've mentioned that over and over, but the fact remains, they basically put the engine back together to put him into the front of the field, and it certainly has worked. Russ LaJoie giving chase out there in the 28, the driver from Norwalk, Connecticut. If the name LaJoie sounds familiar, it should. Quite a racing family.
Russell LaJoie got his first win at the Speedbowl in the August of last year. Took him a little while to figure out the confines, but he is a very tough customer now. Wayne Corey has gotten in front of Alan Coates, so Wayne Corey in car number 17 has become a factor, and he still has enough time, Mark, 23 laps. If that car is hooked up right, he has enough time to close some ground between himself and Corey Hutchings.
Well, that's essentially an eternity to these guys. They're used to racing a 30-lap or 35-lap feature, and this is where they're normally dialed in. Surprisingly enough, Alan Coates back away from the leader. He's normally working his way towards the front at this point. Let's see how he does, but Corey Hutchings is on a rail. He's going to be a tough guy to beat. And they're coming up on some slower traffic as Durante and Skip Brunig in front of them.
So you never know what can happen when you go through lap traffic. Sometimes it can help you, sometimes it can cost you a victory. And Corey Hutchings just tap dances around the 77 of Durante, so a power move there. No problems, and now he has to go by the veteran Skip Brunig in car number 02.
So tremendous racing all the way around the Waterford Speedbowl, as now the drivers are dealing with the slower traffic out there. Corey Hutchings coming up on Skip Brunig 02. Very strong automobile out there. Russell LaJoie and Wayne Corey, along with Alan Coates and Diego Monahan, on a breakaway towards the front of that field.
Diego Monahan starting to put some pressure on Alan Coates. And Monahan, he doesn't have the car he started with. As you see, it's missing its hood and some other parts, but He is giving Alan Coates a problem in car number 98. That's the battle for fourth.
Giving him all he can handle out there. Corey Hutchings with Skip Rudick between he and the second place car of Russell LaJoy. So kind of the old pick play going on out there at the front of the field. Wayne Corey all by himself out there in the third spot in the number 17. Tremendous qualifying run for him in the time trials.
Well, two things going for Corey Hutchings tonight. He loves extra distance races, and he loves a loose racetrack. And both of them are working in his favor tonight as he's opened up a sizable lead over LaJoy. But lap traffic is in the way. Derek McClellan in car number 74. And no problems at all for Hutchings as he just asserts himself on the outside groove.
One battle we've been watching as well as Alan Coates and Diego Monahan. Monahan passed him last time around and put the 0-3 in front of our points leader. Diego Monahan trying to get those positions because he is currently tied for second in points with Corey Hutchings. So every spot on the track is important. However, is he a lap or two down?
Diego Monahan is not on the lead lap, so that's why you see 98 still on the scoreboard. And now 11 laps to go.